Good evening. Welcome to the third episode of this podcast. The theme of this third episode is the past. And, the theme is the past for two reasons. First, this was written 5 years ago. I wrote this 5 years ago, written by a 25-year-old Kumud. He makes me laugh sometimes. So I'll be reading this blog called Inertia and the Art of Walking Away. So the title, Inertia and the Art of Walking Away, symbolizes the past as well and how we deal with our past. Or how we deal with the transition from present to the past. Inertia and the art of walking away. So, respect yourself enough to walk away from anything or anyone that no longer serves you, grows you, or makes you happy. I have pondered over this quote I found on my friend's Tumblr page for a while now. It was under the section titled Textual Seduction, an expression even more relevant in the world we live in, where the cyberspace has virtually become the seduction incubator for many. But that's besides the point. My point is, there's a fine line that separates self-respect from selfishness. And sometimes it's tough to balance being fair to someone else with being fair to ourselves. Sometimes there's a way to reconcile the tension. Other times, they are mutually exclusive. What is fairness anyway, in a world of subjective, socially constructed truths? Walking away is an art that is perfected over time. As you start balding, and as people start spotting gray beard on your face, you begin to understand the importance of neatly walking away, of refusing to take shit. Be it a relationship that has started destroying you, or a job that has stopped nurturing your growth, however you may define that growth, it may be wise to walk away. There are instances when you are left with two choices: disappointing someone that has stopped serving you, growing you, or making you happy, and endlessly dragging your disappointed self. And the former is always a reasonable choice, a fair choice, a pragmatic survival strategy. And yet we often struggle to pick between the two distinct choices that arise in front of us. We ruin our hearts and minds because we are too afraid to walk away. We are too afraid to pause the flow we are going with, too afraid to be alone for a while, too afraid to stay unemployed until we figure out the next step. And we end up making terrible mistakes, not just once, but every day. I don't pretend to be someone who constantly steps out of the comfort zone and plays with fire. I have deep-rooted insecurities, just like everyone else. And I have that inertia of motion that we all possess in life. I hate changing directions. I hate pausing when I am going on a ride, even when the ride may have been bumpy for a while. We all do. Despite repeatedly understanding the cliche of change being the only constant in life, we are still terrified of change. And that fear of change enslaves us, imprisons us, exercises control and power over us. Oftentimes, it destroys us deep inside. If inertia is one explanation for the resistance to walking away, the fear of societal label of instrumentality is another. Instrumentality. Socially engineered implantation of a sense of guilt for pursuing your self-interest. I was labeled as being promiscuous with jobs, when I quit my first post-college job 3 months in. Fairness is a vague concept. Is it unfair to quit a job in such a short time because you shattered your employer's expectations? Is it unfair to terminate the same contract that had reserved the right for the employer to dismiss you any day if you disappointed them? Or is it unfair to yourself if you compromise your own inner drive to pursue something else? As an aspiring entrepreneur, is it not unfair to compromise your desire to build your own dreams so that someone else can hire you to help build theirs? Whose take on fairness do we need to cater to? Our own or someone else's? The debate over altruism versus instrumentality around the core human nature is a never-ending one and shall always remain inconclusive. Are we inherently altruistic creatures? Or is evidence of instrumentality manifested even through seemingly altruistic acts of kindness and service to the greater community? Perhaps even the seemingly altruistic deeds are primarily driven by our instrumental approach. When we do good to others, either materially or otherwise, are we not pursuing our own self-satisfaction and peace of mind? It's a fundamental human instinct to try to pursue acts that make us happy. Pursuit of happiness, as they call it. Someone recently pointed out to me that pursuit is the key here, implying that happiness is always something we are chasing. We never arrive at happiness, no matter where we are and what we have. Perhaps. But perhaps one of the reasons we constantly fail to arrive at happiness is because we are too afraid to walk away, too afraid to perfect the art of neatly walking away. Perhaps. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned for the 4th episode. Thank you.